friends, I hope you all had a good learning experience during the course. This is your final lecture in this particular course, where we discussed large number of analytical applications in operations management and revenue optimization. Around 50% of our course was focusing on revenue optimization, whether it is quantity based or price based. And in our last session, we were talking about marking down of the prices. We discussed that how you need to decide in the beginning whether you want to have 2 segments of price, 3 segments of price or more than that of the prices. We also discussed about process of cannibalization, that if you make it a habit of dividing the prices in 2-3 segments, and if customer can anticipate, it is quite possible that the benefits of segmentation which we discussed in our previous class may not be achieved to that highest level, and how at different levels of cannibalization these benefits get reduced. That calculation also is available in our Excel sheet, which you can access from the course material. In this particular session, on one side we have to complete the optimization part of our markdown approaches, but we will also like to give you the brief summary what we have discussed in last 39 sessions. So, this is your last session. You must have some important takeaways out of this class, that okay, what have we learned in this particular course. But before that, let me start with markdown pricing, and let us see that what we have what we can do with the help of optimization tools in marking down. So, here we have a simple example to start with, and in this simple example our total stock of this commodity is 160 units, and we see that the total life of this particular stock is 4 months. Then if there are some unsold units after 4 months, so all those will become scrap. However, there is a value associated in scrap also. You can give scrap at the rate of $5 per unit. Now, for different type of month, these are period 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for different periods there is a different type of demand rate. For period 1, the demand rate is given with this expression, this expression, this expression and this expression. 120 minus 1.5 P1, 90 minus 1.5 P2, 80 minus 1.5 P3 and 50 minus 2 P4. The objective is very clear. I want to maximize revenue, and for that purpose determine P1, P2, P3, P4. We have to determine P1, P2, P3, P4. We want to maximize our total revenue, and D1 P1 plus D2 P2 plus D3 P3 plus D4 P4 is less than equals to 160, and this entire problem can be formulated very easily in our Excel sheets. So, let us go to Excel and see that how we can formulate this problem on the Excel, and then how can we perform the optimization algorithms so that we can get the values of P1, P2, P3, P4. So, here if you see the objective function is, I just mentioned about the maximization of the revenue. Now, this objective function has 2 components. One is this component, that is revenue from sales, and this second part is revenue from scrap. So, whatever is unsold, that is sold as a scrap at the rate of 5. So, there are obviously I will like to say that in the most optimal scenario we should be able to sell all the units and the maximum revenue should come from the sales only. But it is quite possible that there may remain some unsold units also and that will go as a scrap. The constraint, the total demand of all the 4 periods should be less than equals to the capacity. In this example, C is 160, that is the total capacity of this particular thing, and Pi is less than Pi minus 1. So, as we are moving into different time zones, the pricing in a sequential manner is changing. It is not possible that the meaning is, if this is 10 and I say that pricing are decreasing, it has to be 9, it has to be 8, it cannot be 8.5 in this case. This is not possible. So, there has to be a sequence in the decreasing of the price. It can be 10, 9, 8, 7.5, that is acceptable, but this is not acceptable. So, these are the conditions, these are the equations which we are going to insert in our Excel form. And if I go to the Excel, so here we see that in the Excel the problem is formulated readily for your ready reference. These are the demand rates which we were discussing there. Now, prices are our P1, P2, P3, P4. These are the prices which are available to us after the calculations. These are the decision variables, and with these prices you can see that automatically it is in the particular order. As we are coming closer to the 4th period, the prices are continuously decreasing. Now, here I see that if I go to cell C4, we see that what is the demand function. We have directly inserted this demand function 120 minus 1.5 P1, that is B4. Similarly, if I go to C5, this is putting in the, let us say C4, this is in C5, this is in C6 and this is in C7. And then if you see the C8, this is the demand which is total capacity 160 minus sum of C4 to C7, that comes under C8. And now we see the revenue calculations. The revenue calculation will be directly, if you see D4, it is the multiplication of B4 and C4, and then you are copying the same D4 to all the other cells of column D, and finally this is total revenue. This is our total revenue, and if I go to this formula of total revenue which is in D9, you can see the formula in D9, that is in the formula bar, that is sum of D4 to D8, that we want to maximize. Now, after putting these formula and the initial values of prices we will be putting equals to 0 to start our solution process. So, all these prices are 0 in the beginning. So, that is our initial revenue, that is minus 900, which is not practically possible, that actually the initial revenue will be, this does not meet anything. Now, we will set our objective function D9 for the maximization purpose, and that is to be maximized by changing the variable cells, that is the price which is from B4 to B7, and then we are going to apply the process of optimization. Here we have to see that yes. So, after applying that Excel solver and doing the optimization, we got the total revenue coming to be 5120, and this revenue says that around 6 units you are unsold, which are going for scrap. These are scrap. You are selling in the first period 56 units, in the second period 41 units, in the third period 36 units, and in the last period 4th month you are selling 20 units, and 6 units are almost unsold, which are given in the form of scrap. So, this way you are able to actually complete your process of optimization of marking down. So, with this we are able to see that how by deciding. Now, in this particular case we have readily given you 4 different rate of demand functions: 120 minus 1.5 P1, 90 into 1.5 P1, 80 minus 1.5 P3 and 50 minus 2 P4. Sometime it may not be possible that you are able to get different demand rate for different time periods or for different prices. You may have a single, like what we did in our last session, that you have only single demand function, and as we are going to the subsequent periods, we were subtracting from this total possible demand the capacity used in that particular session. So, whether you have 4 different functions, which is okay in the classroom, because I am giving you ready made demand functions, but in the practical cases developing so many different demand functions may not be feasible. So, even if you have a single demand function like this, so here like in this particular problem I request you, you can try using only one demand function dP equals to 120 minus 1.5 P1, and see if I have only one demand function, not these 4 demand functions. Only thing which I know that I have to do 4 segments. I have to do 4 segments. How much difference you are going to get in your total optimization, total revenue collection. So, that may be a kind of a homework for all of you who have understood how have we calculated using this Excel solver approach. Now, going back to our class, with this in fact we have covered the markdown optimization process, and so now with this we have completed the pricing related discussions with the variety of cases we have already discussed. Now, finally, we will take last 10-15 minutes to give you a complete overview of whatever we have discussed in this particular course. We started this course with these number of topics. This is the slide which is giving you the overview of what we have covered in this particular course. We discussed the introduction and scope of use of analytics in operations management. We discussed that there are large number of areas where we have to do decision making on a regular basis, and in these decision making earlier we were very static. Once we used to take a decision, the same decision used to remain maybe for 1 year. You may remember when we discussed about EOQ systems, that once in a year we are calculating our economic order quantity, and that is totally becoming obsolete in the present environment, where we are getting so much of data at such a fast rate that every month, every week, every quarter you are able to update your annual demand, and therefore, whenever you have new update in your forecast, accordingly your new EOQ will be calculated. So, these type of scope are there in our decision making. What type of line balancing outputs we were having in the start of a plant, now that is again possible to improve a lot, because you may have variable demand on daily basis, and when you have a variable demand on the daily basis, the line balancing problem will keep changing according to what is your throughput from your systems. So, a different type of role of decision making with respect to data we discussed. We discussed that environment has become very uncertain. Earlier environment was quite static, it was homogeneous, but the current environment is more uncertain. There are so much of volatility in the environment, and because of these fluctuations, uncertainty, because of these sudden jumps, sudden spikes, the role of analytics has become even more significant. So, we discussed in almost about 10 to 12 lectures different types of uncertainties which may be there in different type of operation management decision making, particularly in case of forecasting, particularly in case of inventory management, particularly in case of aggregate planning and management. In all these cases, there are a lot of uncertainties, and how with the help of analytics we are able to take better decisions in the interest of our organizations. Supply chain is a very integral part of operations management. Initially we discussed that supply chain we used to discuss as a single chapter in operations management classes, but over a period of time supply chain has become such a important competitive force for the organization that entire operation management is now a subset of a supply chain, and as a result of that lot of research, lot of teachings, lot of courses are being developed on supply chain. I was referring about uncertainty. So, we are nowadays talking more in terms of uncertainties related to supply chains. Uncertainties related to supply chain are coming from the supply side also and from the demand side also. So, you can use analytics in a very strong manner for handling or managing the uncertainties of both these sides, supply side and the demand side. Supply side uncertainties can be handled in a more convenient way, because your all the suppliers are under your control, but it becomes very difficult to handle the demand side uncertainties, because demand side uncertainties customers are not in your hand. So, there are so many factors, may be visible, may be invisible, are always operating in the environment, and these are resulting into supply side uncertainties. Then handling the issues related to optimal level of product availability, that on one side we have issues related to more and more revenue collection by selling the products, whenever a customer is coming. But for improving our product availability and from product availability revenue optimization, you need to keep large amount of inventory. So, that will be another set of cost. So, it is not only revenue, you also need to see the profitability which is coming from your entire operational activities. So, when I talk of profitability, the revenue which you are getting and the cost you are incurring for maintaining that type of product availability, you need to do optimization. So, a very important part of analytics was related to optimal level of product availability, so that you have a particular level of cost and you are also able to provide a decent level of customer services, decent level of product availability. You can so lot of qualitative and quantitative discussions are needed for deciding the customers happiness as well as profitability of your organization. And then 50% of our course was devoted on this revenue optimization, revenue management, revenue maximization, whatever you say. In that we discussed most of the cases where we had limited capacity available with us. Large number of examples we took from aviation sector, airlines, that how, and particularly we took the examples of airlines because most of the principles, theories, etc., which we used in our class were developed either from one airline or another airline. So, therefore, airlines always came in our discussions of revenue management. Now, we focused a lot that how if some capacity is available to us, some quantity is available to us, how are we going to manage that quantity between various types of customers, various types of classes, various time periods, high paying customers, low paying customers, etc., etc., with the objective of we should be able to utilize all our capacity on one side, not only utilize the capacity, but also get the maximum benefit, maximum revenue from that capacity also. And we also see that rather thinking in terms of quantity allocation, capacity allocation, you can think of price based scenario also, that what should be the optimal price which can give you maximum benefits. So, that also we discussed in detail in our this particular course. So, this give you the entire overview that whatever we have discussed in this particular case. During the course we discussed some of the examples, but if I see practically, there are few examples where they have used these principles in practice also. Like one example which you can all refer, and we will offer you that case also, the link will also be available in the list of references in this particular PPT, where the Taj Group of Hotels in India, which is one of the largest and very prominent respected group in India, not only India but entire South Asia, and they have large number of hotels. Every hotel is a star hotel, total these many numbers of rooms are available, and so many other kind of facilities etc., are available. Now, this particular case is about using the principles of revenue management for improving their revenues, total revenue. And this diagram gives you a pictorial view which is taken from this particular case study which I am referring, where they have mentioned that what type of revenue management system as a framework they are applying at Taj Group. So, they have used lot of optimization as well as qualitative factors also for improving or for giving the better customer services, and through that they want to achieve higher and higher revenue. Here some of the qualitative things like following the some SOPs, so that it is not person specific, it is more system specific processes which are happening in this particular group. Then transactional systems, so that proper data capturing can be done, and using that data they are able to do lot of analytics for deciding the policies for the next periods, and information tools, infrastructure, compliance standards, all these things are there, and a very good focus on their human resource management. Since we are in operations management class, so I am not talking about HR aspects, but HR aspects are also giving a lot of you can say support to Taj Group of Hotels, and these are all the important type of standardizations which they have followed in their hotels, and using the principles which we have just discussed in this particular course, like they also go for various types of price change. So, sometime they may upgrade the customer from one category to another category. Overbooking is also happening, that okay, and not only overbooking, but the concept of network management, if you remember, is also very effectively used by Taj Group of Hotels. So, just I am trying to highlight that organizations are using, and in fact, you will be able to get more insights when you actually refer this particular case, when you will see the case when you are going to do this particular course. We may discuss this course in our discussion forum also, as well as our associates will give you more insights about the Tata management, Tata Group case in their discussions. So, this is the diagram, the framework which I am talking, they are following, and they use inventory optimization module and the forecasting module, and not only the modules, because that is being used by almost all the service organizations, manufacturing organizations, but they are doing it in real time, so that the power of analytics can be used very effectively in their organization. Then you can we will be giving you reference of some of the other interesting research papers which will give you more insights about the application of revenue management techniques, and this is one example of a research paper which is giving you that how airline company is using the overbooking, cancellations and no shows for maximizing their revenues, which we have discussed in the class of overbooking. Then another paper where they have given, which is the part A of our course, that in all those areas where we have to use analytics in operations management, wherever we have to do regular decision making, analytics may help us in a significant manner, like in transportation management, risk analysis, inventory management, forecasting, etc., where regular decision making is required. Then another paper which will be available to you, that is revenue and cost management for remanufactured products. So, remanufactured products are part of our circular economy also, where we want to reduce the negative impact of our manufacturing activities, and in this case the author has highlighted, analyzed the operations and pricing strategy, and you may recall that during the last part of this particular course we were focusing on the pricing strategy. So, he in fact during our discussion we never discussed the pricing from a remanufacturing point of view, but this research paper will extend our discussion that how pricing can be important thing for success of circular economy through remanufacturing products. So, all these discussions are available to you with the help of these different research papers. So, these are the research papers and this is the case study. So, whoever can access these research papers, they should in fact access these research papers. Otherwise, when you will be doing this course, we will be helping you in getting the access of these research papers, so that you can see that and this list is not exhaustive, let me tell you. We could find these research papers, but as time will progress, I am sure more research papers will come in this area, and we will get more practical insights that how organizations have used operations analytics for various types of activities in decision making and in revenue maximization. So, with this we come to end of this particular lecture, not only this particular lecture, but the end of this particular course on operations analytics, and I wish you all the very best for your final examination which you will be going to have after this video classes. Thank you very much.